is my photo churn dash block that I made for our family block challenge for the month of October. And I think that it would make, when I designed it, I was thinking it would make a great project for Christmas. I think that this is going to be a Christmas of lots of handmade gifts. And so this is really easy to make into a pillow. Now, I don't like having a million pillows around the house that all look different. That's not my style. I like having a couple of pillows that I can have pillow covers on and change them out. So I'm going to teach you today how to turn this into a pillow cover. And that way, if you have to ship it or something, you could tell someone, you need a 18-inch pillow to pop in here, and just send the cover. So however this works for you. So this block ends up being 12.5 inches unfinished, so it will be 12 inches finished. So what you need to know is how big your pillow is. So this is the pillow that I have, and so it's kind of hard to measure a pillow. But I squish it down here, and I can tell that this pillow's, when I squish it, it's about 17 inches. So I think that I want my pillowcase cover to be 17.5. So I need to add, so if I have, I'm going to add a 3¼ inch strip onto each side. So that's what I'm going to do now, and then we'll come back and talk about it. I'm going to put a strip on both sides, and then I'll put a strip on each top. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so I have my strips sewn on the quilt block, and it's just a squidge over 17.5. So that's going to work. So now what we want to do is we need to make our back. So we're going to cut one piece of fabric. Okay, now I wouldn't have even thought of this except that it happened on a pillow I've made before. I put, this fabric's a little bit directional, so just be careful when you do the back that you don't have one piece going this way and one piece going this way, because sometimes it's hard to tell what you're doing. So just be careful with that. So I know that this is just gonna, it's always best to measure twice. Okay, so 17.5. So we are going to do 17.5 on this. And then the magic comes in the next cut. Okay, it's not really magical. It's not even really that clever, but it sure makes it, having changeable pillows around, easy. Okay, so we have our strip here. We are going to cut off the selvages. So it's nice and straight. Okay, so after we cut off the selvages, we need to think for just a minute. So we know our pillow is 17 inches. So what we're going to have is two pieces overlapping. We want at least a 5-inch overlap. So half of 17 is 8.5. I want it to go, if it's 8.5, I'm going to want to add at least 3 inches so that I have an overlap. Now there's nothing fancy about this. So let's cut. I would rather have them overlap too much than not enough. So we're just gonna, I should have left this laying down, then I wouldn't have to straighten it out. Okay, but so from that selvage edge we just trimmed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll line it up right there. I'm just gonna double check to see if that looks, you know, I just don't know if that's enough. I'm going to add a couple more inches because you can always trim it off later. Okay, so now that we have these two pieces, we are going to, you're going to hem each of these edges. It doesn't matter which side you do, but it does matter. Well, you're not going to turn this one sideways. You're going to be okay. So just hem 2 of the edges and then we'll be back. Okay, so now I have my back pieces hemmed and I have my front piece. So I'm going to lay my front piece right side up, and then I'm going to take one of the back pieces that has the hem. The hem is going to go on the inside. There you go. So you're going to line up your edges. just like that. Okay, now we're going to take the other piece. Is that better? Take the other piece, and with the hem on the inside, I even went crazy today and I changed to black thread. I didn't have any navy thread, but I didn't just use white like I do sometimes. Okay, so we can see we have an overlap, and it's a good thing we added those 2 inches because I took kind of a big hem, but I think that's about a 4-inch overlap, and I think it'll work. So always err on the side of wider. I would have been even happier with maybe a couple more inches. So now that we have, this is one place, you notice that I rarely pin, but this is one place where I would pin, especially right here where you have 3 layers. You don't have to do anything crazy. And then when you sew, we're going to get to sew all the way around. There's no stopping and leaving holes to turn or anything. But when you go across this area, and you can feel it underneath where that other seam is, I would back stitch. So I would do a little back stitch there and a little back stitch there, and then the same thing on the other end. But just go all the way around. All right, I'll meet you back here in just a minute. Okay, I've sewed around all 4 sides. And I back stitch. I go back about 1 inch and then back over it so that over those seams, just because that's where the pull is going to be when you're kind of tugging on things to get the pillow in. All right, so we're going to reach inside and turn this inside out, or actually right side out. And we're going to poke those corners out. My favorite corner poking tool is called a purple thing. But I'm in Maine and I don't have my purple thing with me. So we're just going to use my finger. And it won't be as perfect as usual, but that's okay. All right, so there's our pillowcase. Now, I'm not even going to bother to press it. We're just going to tuck the pillow in here. So just slide this guy in there. And pillows are pretty forgiving. Just kind of squish it down in and then let it pop up into the inside. I've noticed on these pillows that I really have to, the corners kind of get flattened out, so they have to be tugged up a little bit. Okay, and just smooth this out. See how nicely that covers? And ta-da! I think that this is a cute gift. I'm grandma, I'd love it. Okay, so give it a try with some of your orphan blocks. It doesn't have to be a photo block, it could be anything. So I hope you'll give this a try. And there's more instructions down in the directions, so if the quilting math is making you scared, don't let it scare you. Have a great day.